Present.
Mrs. Maldonado.
Present.
Mr. Martinez.
Present.
Mrs. Ortega.
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Present.
Mrs. Zúñiga.
Here.
Student Advisor Moises Aguirre.
Present.
And Mason Cassette.
Present.
Would you please have the Harrison twins join us in the front for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, guys. Thank you very much. Ms. Maldonado, will you please read the vision? And Ms. Barnes, will you read the mission statement for the school district, please?
Mission: we provide equitable opportunities to ensure our future-ready students are empowered to explore, learn, grow, and excel.
Vision. Lead today, impact tomorrow.
Thank you, ladies.
Item number 2, Board Honors, presenter by Mr. Gustavo Reveles.
Board President Martinez, members of the board, and Dr. Borrego, could you please join us in front of the dais to begin this month's presentation, please? Good evening. It's my pleasure to be here today to recognize the work that is being done by students and staff to make the Canutillo Independent School District shine bright. Before we start, I want to point out that Northwest Early College senior Jacob Lozano, who we are scheduled to recognize tonight for his admission to 4 Ivy League schools, is not able to join us because, well, he's currently visiting Yale, trying to determine if that's the right fit for him. So we will make sure to honor him next month. April is the month of the military child, and across Canutillo ISD, you may have noticed something different. Our campus is awash in purple. Purple shirts, purple ribbons, purple pride everywhere you look. There's a reason for that. Purple is the color of military children, a symbol of unity, strength, and sacrifice representing all branches of the armed forces. And this year, Canutillo ISD has embraced that symbol with pride and purpose. Our connection to the military runs deep. From the very beginnings of our school district, families who serve this country helped build the foundation of who we are today. Generations later, that legacy continues as we proudly serve students and families connected to nearby Fort Bliss, families who know what it means to sacrifice, to adapt, and to serve. Military children face challenges that many of us will never fully understand. Frequent moves, new schools, long separations from loved ones. And yet, they show resilience beyond their years. Supporting them is not just something we do, it is a responsibility we carry with honor. That commitment is reflected in the designation of 6 of our campuses as Purple Star schools, a recognition of our dedication to meeting the unique needs of military-connected students, but more importantly, it's reflected in the daily work happening in our schools, welcoming families with open arms, providing critical resources, and ensuring every child feels seen, supported, and valued from day one. It's also about building understanding. For students who may not come from military families, this is an opportunity to learn, to recognize the sacrifices made by their peers, and to develop a deep respect for the men and women who serve our nation. Today, we are honored to be joined by a family who represents the very heart of this community. Retired U.S. Army Command Sergeant Major Joshua Harrison and his wife Cindy are here with us. They represent the many military-connected families in Canutillo ISD, and they're also the proud parents of twin boys at Reyes Elementary School. Their story reflects the strength and commitment we celebrate this month. Please join me in warmly welcoming the Harrison family. We also want to recognize the dedicated members of our CISD family who have worked tirelessly to expand support for our military families. Our parent liaisons, teachers, administrators, and staff, their work has helped grow these services and elevate our campuses to Purple Star status. And I know they're working really hard to make sure all our schools are rated as Purple Stars. So please help me welcome these men and women, our employees, who continue to serve our military families and who will help us reach Purple Star designation at every single one of our schools. Come on up, please. We want to ask Sergeant Major Harrison, his wife, and his kids to come back so we can take a photo with everyone who's here to represent you and families like yours. We're going to take a photo. All right. Thank you so much for your service, sir. To all of our military children and families, we see you, we honor you, and we thank you. Your strength inspires us, and your sacrifices will never go unnoticed. As we approach Speech Language Hearing Month this May, we take time to recognize an incredible group of professionals in Canutillo ISD, our speech language pathologists. Our SLPs do far more than help students with speech. They help students find their voice. And when a student finds their voice, it opens the door to learning, connection, and confidence. Every day, our SLPs work with students across all grade levels, supporting a wide range of communication needs. They help students improve articulation, build vocabulary, strengthen comprehension, and develop social communication skills. For some students, they also provide alternative ways to communicate, ensuring every child has a way to express him or herself and be understood. Their work directly supports both academic success and life skills. Communication is at the center of everything we do in school: reading, writing, collaborating, and problem solving. By strengthening these skills, our SLPs help students participate more fully in the classroom and prepare for success beyond it. That work takes expertise, patience, and heart. It's about meeting each child where they are and helping them take the next step forward, no matter how big or small. So as we celebrate National Speech Language Hearing Month, we thank our Canutillo ISD speech language pathologists for the difference they make every day. Please help us welcome our district SLPs, Graciela Pargas, Rita Hinojos, Ana Garcia, Diana Montano, Jasmine Garcia, Lourdes Garcia, Caroline Esparza Granillo, and Pamela Perez. Miss Mena, come on up.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you, SLPs. Maybe you can help me with my tongue thrust? Yeah. Congratulations to everyone recognized here today. Board President Martinez, members of the board, and Dr. Borrego, this concludes the presentation for this month. Y que viva Canutillo.
Item number 3, open forum. Any person wishing to address the board during the period reserved for public comment at a board meeting must sign up to be heard in accordance with district policy, BED, local. Each participant will be limited to 3 minutes to make comments to the board. The board is not permitted to discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agenda for tonight's meeting. For further information on these policies, contact the superintendent's administrative assistant. And Mr. President, we have one community member who signed up for tonight. Her name is Heather Rivas, regarding the dress code enforcements at the high school, close campus for lunch for all students, and enforce cell phone restrictions.
Hello, Dr. Borrego, board, faculty, and fellow parents. My name is Heather, and I love this community so much. I volunteer at Good News Club with 2 elementary schools. I am involved in the middle school PTO and the Booster Club with the football team at the high school, because I have kids that go to the middle school and the high school. So tonight I would like to address 3 things involving safety and the well-being of our children. First of all is the dress code enforcement. It's not about limiting their self-expression rather than having a respectful and a not distracted learning environment. Anytime during the week, you can look through the Instagram and the Facebook stories. You will see these high schoolers wearing tube tops, see-through clothing, little straps in their shirt, their bellies exposed, and it's a distraction. I have 5 boys. It's a distraction for the teachers and for all of the children. It's a policy that's in place. I looked it up, I signed it, and my children are constantly getting charged money for not having their IDs. That's enforced. Please enforce more than just an email that I've received recently twice. Thank you, but I would like some enforcement for the dress code. Secondly, campus security. Safety during lunch. The children are reckless in the parking lots. They're reckless on the street. They're rushing to get to food lines inside of Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A. They come back, they're tardy. And it's not safe for them. There's also fights happening in the parking lots, fights happening on the streets. It's not safe. These children aren't being monitored or supervised. Parents are expecting them to go to the school and to be monitored. And so I'm asking for all the campuses or all the grade levels to have a closed campus like Gadsden, like many other schools within Texas, for their safety. However, if we do expect them to stay on campus, we need more food alternative items for them to eat and better quality of food so they will like the taste. Maybe consult farmers for produce and for meat. Something to get these kids to stay on campus and then to fellowship and to engage them to talk to each other. So this accountability is going to help them be safe, be supervised, tracked, and it'll make us parents feel a lot safer. And then lastly, the cell phone use. It's a state law, and there are some teachers at the middle school and high school. I've gone to the parent-teacher conferences. I've asked them, please stop. They are not your friends. They should not be allowed. It's the law. Don't let them use their cell phones. However, it's happening. I've even seen it on these posts with the pictures on Instagram just last week. They were on their phones. So anyway, if you could help me out, I really appreciate it. We are looking into other schools or homeschooling in the area. I appreciate what you guys do for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rivas. And Mr. President, that concludes board honors for today. Next is item number 4, special presentations. Item 4A, Canutillo High School graduation presentation by Mr. Beck or Ms. Avila.
Good evening. I forgot my glasses.
You want to borrow mine? Here, Mr. Beck. They're standard Dollar Tree.
I got them.
I usually carry them with me.
I apologize. Good evening, Board President, Dr. Borrego, and board members. So we are going to go ahead and go over our Canutillo High School 2026 graduating. Let's see, are we there? Yes, okay. So this year we have 340 students who are seniors. This includes TOA students. We do have 8 early graduates, and out of those, it's 10%. Our top 10% is 34 students. Going to the next, our performance acknowledgement. We do have 10 students that are a dual credit. We do have 2 students so far that are bilingual, biliteracy, and then we are going to go ahead and test our students for AP, 98 students. We are pending ACT, SAT, and PSAT until completion of all the data and all the tests that are going to go ahead and be uploaded. And total license, it's going to be 115 students who will be taking those certifications. A total of 225 students, which is out of 340 students that are seniors. Currently, we do have a total of 26 students who are working on their individual graduation plans. I know that the numbers are a little bit different because some of the students do have to work on some projects. For example, in algebra, the student that's working on the algebra 1 might be also working on the English one as well. So it's a total of 26 students. Am I going too fast? No, we're good? Okay, so our steps to success, this is what we have been working. I know that they've been working on the one-to-one meetings with students in regards to attendance. There's been intersessions, Saturdays, and after-school support, and ongoing reviews to help seniors reach their goal. Am I on the right one? Yeah. We do have a total of, it says TOA students, it says a total of 25. It's actually 23 students. Okay. I think I skipped one. And I know that we received this packet. I know these are the things that we've been working with: college readiness, credit for graduation, and performance acknowledgement. We continue working with our students, our seniors. I know that today there was more meetings, more one-to-one meetings with those students that have to work with their loss of credit classes. So we continue talking to them and meeting with them with our counselors. And then I'm going to go ahead and go all the way to the scholarship. We do have $47,376,050 that has been awarded up until now. I know that we still have some other students that we need to go ahead and account for with scholarships. And then we're looking at going into CCMR. At March, we were at 33% with our CCMR. I'm happy to say that we have worked really hard to ensure that we work towards those CCMR points. So we have reached we have increased 125.8% from March to up to April the 13th. So this is, I know that we have 86%, but I know that we're higher according to today. I know that we're higher. We finished with 1 student today. We're missing 1 more student. The rest of the students are students that are working in TOA. So the high school level has already just 1 student that's missing. Class of 2026 testing, this is the schedule that we have been delivering and working on. We still have pending TSI, which next Tuesday we're going to do another round of TSI, and then we do have another in May 7th. And then we are going to be doing our AP testing, which is also in May. Our counselors have been working hard. They do have their Google Classroom. This is how they reach their students to work on scholarships, FAFSA admissions, and admissions. We also provide support for their SEL, and this is Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. We do work with them. Senior College Career Days, we've had October 21st, the February, March, and then we do have Decision Day, which is May 1st. And we have been preparing, taking pictures for them, and hoping that, what are they deciding on? We do have some students that are right now in a position where they don't know where to go. So that's a good position that they should be in, because they're deciding what college should I be in. Our graduation days, we do have already set up those days for them. This has been already communicated with parents as well through a newsletter, and we'll continue to communicate to parents so that way they know what's happening with our seniors. We do have a senior parent night, which is going to be on May the 4th, which needs to be included on this one as well. And then, of course, some activities. You want to add something, Mr. Beck?
Good afternoon, good evening, Board President, Dr. Borrego, and the rest of the board trustees. Just student activities, the culture at Canutillo High School, as you've seen it on Facebook, Instagram, and the students themselves, and Mr. Mason can speak of it as well. It's been prioritized. We're getting more people. We just finished with our prom last Saturday. Very, very, very successful prom. It was the most attended prom that we've had since I've been there, but told me in the past. We just had tons of kids happily dancing away, and Mason's a great senior class president. He's been getting the senior class involved. Senior Sunset is coming up, all the wonderful activities. We do have a very exciting gamescape that we've never done before. In lieu of a water park, we just thought it was more safe, and Mason agreed with all the seniors. Well, not all the seniors, but we agreed that gamescape, they're going to get fed. It's going to be like a field day type thing. We're going to bus them out there, the new area way out there on the far east side, with many events, that they're going to have for them out there. It's a great place. It's a little far, yes, way from one side to the other. But we're all excited. We have just a lot of wonderful things planned for our seniors. In my second year, it was a wonderful graduation, I feel it was last year, and we plan to do it an awesome one. Dr. Borrego's first graduation, so I hope it's going to be great as well. So excited about it. More clubs, organizations are at the high school. I'm getting all the stoles together so they can be recognized of what they're part of. It's just a great time. It's my favorite. April, May is my favorite. My Super Bowl, my favorite time of the year, and I think the students are excited, so caca.
That concludes our presentation.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Valero.
I just had a question. When you talk about the one-on-one that you're talking with the seniors regarding their credit, that they're falling behind, or what do they need to do to make it to the finish line, do you include the parents by any chance?
They also call the parents. They do set up meetings. I know that before, in March, before we went to spring break, they did have parent meetings as well, especially with those students that are more at risk. When they go ahead and meet with students, they're also doing Google Meets or Zoom meetings, so that way parents can also be reached out. If the parents are not available, then they do go ahead and do one-to-ones with the students.
Okay, because it's real imperative to include the parents, because I, as a parent, would not want to be shocked to know that, my daughter was missing one credit or something at the last minute. So, and I know that seniors think they're adults, but at the same time, parents need to be involved as well.
Yes, ma'am.
To make that, to push, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And it's our RTI, it's our counselors, and also our ICs that are supporting, because we need to make sure that we are available for all the students and making sure that the manpower is there to be able to contact parents. So.
Anybody else? Yes, Ms. Barnes.
I did see that we have a couple TSIs that are coming up for the students who are still lacking. So do we still have spots open if they're not yet registered for those?
Yes, ma'am.
And the students who are lacking that point, are they registered for those upcoming ones?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Ortega, go ahead.
I just wanted to congratulate all of you for increasing those CCMR the numbers are just incredible to see. So my question to you is, how did it become accomplished? How did you get it accomplished in such short time?
We ensured that we went ahead, and for the first thing was ensuring that our teachers knew the urgency where we needed to work on, because it needs to be as a team. It can't be done with only one person. So communicating that to our teachers and asking for their support. Also identifying which students we needed to. We started with 226 students that did not have the point. So identifying what were their classes, where they needed to be, and also being able to have them come in and pull them out and work with them, because some of the students are also struggling with their reading or their math, so they needed that support as well. Some students did not have their technology device, so we provided that technology device. So it was just a teamwork. That's what it was, with teachers in the classroom, a team that was helping pulling out students, a team that was working with them and talking to them as well, ensuring that there was one student that we couldn't get, so it was like finally yesterday was the day that we got that student. So
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for all your hard work and all your teachers as well as at the high school.
Anybody else? I have a remark. We're getting into a last month. There's a lot of energy at the high school, as you know. Please bring security, as many as you need. Let them know, because all those kids are full of energy right around now. They think they have accomplished, which we all looking forward. And they're going to be out there just having fun sometimes. And sometimes we forget that along with having fun, we step over the line. So we need to be there to bring them together and say, guys, shape up, because you're just beginning.
understood. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, ma'am. Yes, Ms. Barnes, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. On the senior college and career days, are those during the day, during school, or are these after school?
Some are given during the day. We do invite students. We did have some students that traveled to Dave & Buster's because NMSU was supporting that.
Okay.
So it varies on when we're giving them. We're trying to give them different opportunities so they can provide. So we can provide that support for the students.
And are parents being informed of those college and career days so that they can be part, as Ms. Maldonado
We do send
mentioned?
out messages.
Okay.
I started with a newsletter, so I'm trying to provide as much information that I can with the parents as well. So
Perfect.
hopefully
Thank
we
you.
continue with
Hopefully they're getting home to them. That's the biggest. Thanks.
I do monitor how many parents are reading them, so it's
Oh, good.
been-
It's electronic, so you can
Yes.
see that. Oh, perfect. Even better, because if they go in the kids' backpacks, they're probably not getting.
Yes, no, it's electronic, and we can see how many parents are active, how many parents are reading them.
Perfect.
So hopefully we can continue with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Can I add one more thing? Or a couple more? And I want to say, adding to that, the big thing was identifying and getting highlighted, this kid's done. Our counseling department, our parent liaisons, with the messages to the parents, they've done a great job to identify, and we're going one by one. These, in the past, we've had half a days on these testing days. We haven't had that. I know Mason and some of the seniors are upset about that, but we're catching all those seniors to do College Bridge, to do TSI, to sign up, to see what they're missing, and they're in class. And as the rest of the campus test, the seniors are being doing Renaissance, doing things that are getting them that CCMR point, and I think that's helping out a lot. As much as the seniors hate not going, half a days and full days, I think that really these numbers are going to increase. They're continuing, and that's why we were saying during the slides, it's going up, it's going up. This is not the end for Canutillo High School. They're going to continue to rise. CCMR is our number one objective right now, along with graduation, of course. And I just think it's helping. It's just these past, this whole month right now, we're going to make sure these kids are graduating with those points, so we can go back to where we should be.
Mr. Chair, I just want to mention thank you, Mr. Beck, because you're right. It was a team effort, and I want to say thank you to administration. Dr. Borrego, thank you for putting those systems into place for them to identify and track those students so that we can do what's best for them to complete with that point. So thank you for everybody involved. It was awesome. See that growth.
Item 4B, Northwest Early College High School graduation presentation by Mr. Frank Clark.
Board President, Dr. Borrego, Board of Trustees, good evening. So I'm going to go through our class of 26 graduation updates. It looks like a couple of slides got snuck in that were skipped, so I'll just have Adrian skip through those. So if you want to go to right there. So we do have a total of 89 graduates. Our at-risk and economically disadvantaged is identical to CHS, which it's supposed to be for TEA. We did pick up 3 seniors who came from different early colleges or P-Techs. So when we talk about the associates rate, we don't count them in because we had 0 control over the classes that they took previously. So there'll be just a little bit of difference in some of the numbers as we go forward. Okay. So we do have a dedicated Gateway to College class for all the seniors that assist with FAFSA scholarships, essays, and applications. She brings in speakers from different colleges and representatives. As juniors, they take a PSAT and ACT class. And in Gateway, they also complete some real-life presentations. Every student in every grade level does take a college prep course. It's just similar to an advisory. They do lessons on mental health, social emotional well-being. We do academic progress monitoring, not just the high school side, but also the college side. We do have senior parent individual meetings at the beginning of each semester when they're seniors. We do have one parent or multiple parent meetings. The second semester just to review the expectations for the rest of the semester. And we do have various interventions and intervention meetings for those students who are considered at risk. We work with district support staff and campus social worker to refer students as needed to Emergence Health Network. And we work with EPCC's early alert system to progress students who are not being successful in their college classes. Okay. The ACT and SAT performance. So every senior did take the SAT. We had 99% take the ACT. If you look at our average scores, they both are above the national average. And we continue to do that year after year, thanks to Ms. Barrett, our college readiness coordinator. We also have a total of 20 students who earned a national recognition award from College Board, and many of them also received the Hispanic recognition from their junior year PSAT scores. So there are 3 students who earned that as well. So just a little bit of where our students are going. 28 students are going to go to NMSU, 23 to UTEP, 6 to Texas Tech, 2 to UNM. We have 2 students who are going to continue at EPCC to earn some other certificates. Quite a few other schools in Texas, including UTSA, UT Arlington, out-of-state schools, BYU, Southwestern, Northern Iowa, Northern Arizona, BYU, Iowa State. Other schools that students are attending, we do have one QuestBridge scholar who's going to Scripps College. So that's the second QuestBridge student in a row. One student is going to University of Oregon. And as was mentioned at the beginning, for board honors, one student was accepted to Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, and UPenn. We do have a student who's been accepted to Middlebury College, Reed College, UT Austin, and Texas A&M, and University of Denver. Okay. Our scholarships for this class, as of this afternoon, we're up to $24.3 million. That's an average of $273,000 per student. You can see Yale, $371,000, Williams College, Harvard. The QuestBridge match is $344,000 scholarship. One student did earn just a little over $3 million in scholarships. Every student has completed FAFSA. Every student has applied to at least 4 scholarships. and we have accrued 6,716 hours of community service. So just a couple of senior accolades. We've had Ivy League acceptance 2 years in a row. We've had Questbridge matches 2 years in a row. One student received an NJROTC scholarship. This is the most colleges ever applied to and the highest per student scholarship average. For UIL academics, we did have 2 seniors who were recognized at the Texas State mock trial competition for placing in the top 10 for all trial advocates among 25 teams. We had 5 seniors qualify for UIL academic regionals in District 1-5A. So we compete with schools who are much larger than us for UIL academics. In BPA, we did have 2 seniors qualify for nationals. We had for nationals for BPA, 1 senior placed first place in banking and finance for the 3rd year in a row. Another student placed first in economic research the 3rd year in a row. A student, Natalie Martin, placed second in word processing 2nd year in a row. Another student placed first in network administration for the 2nd year in a row. The team of Natalie and Daniel earned first place for the 2nd year in a row. And Natalie Martin's designs were selected for the Texas BPA State sticker and pin for the 2025 competition season. We do have 2 students who have passed the HESI and are waiting to find out if they got accepted to Texas Tech Accelerated Bachelor's of Nursing program, meaning if these students are accepted, then they could be a nurse by the time they are like 19 or 20. So they're just a year and a half or 2 from becoming nurses. We did have 5 early graduates with an associate degree in December as well. So this is just our average over time. This year, we only counted the 86. We had the 3 that came from other early colleges. 100% of the students have earned 46 to 59 college credits. And 89% of them, or 75, are projected to earn their associate degree before their high school graduation. And the average for the region hovers somewhere between 67 and 71%. We continue to have one of the highest associate attainment rates in the state among early colleges. In graduation and senior activities, we do have senior sunset and senior awards on May 14th. We do our senior parade to all the feeder schools on May 15th. EPCC graduation is on May 18th. And then our graduation is Tuesday, May 19th at 7 at the Plaza Theater. The seniors are supposed to be there by 4:30 and everyone else by about 6:30. And that should about wrap it up if there's any questions.
I have a
Comments?
comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Just really quickly, I want to thank you, Mr. Clark. I know that those statistics of graduation and early college and making sure that our kids are getting their diplomas, their associates, has a lot to do with your leadership. And I know your work. I've had previous experience with it. And I just had lunch with your boss last week, and she was bragging on you, still asking about you. So thank you for what you do, because it starts at the top and the example you set. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Ditto to what Ms. Borrego said.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Ms.
Mr.
Maldonado.
Clark.
In the state, we have one of the highest, consistently over the last 5 years. Yeah. Thank you. A lot of credit goes to our counselor as well. She does spend a lot of time. We go student by student by student. Moises can tell you, the 2 of us, we know just about what every student's degree plan is. We advise them, they come in and ask. So we do spend a lot of time just individually making sure they're taking the classes that they need so that they can finish before high school graduation.
Mr. Clark, I have a question. You mentioned that a student got a scholarship from ROTC, is that correct? Navy
Yes.
ROTC? Do you have a NJROTC program in your campus?
No, we don't, but it's the young lady who we're waiting for, I believe, the Air Force Academy to see if she was going to get the appointment or not.
Excellent, excellent. And once again, security is important this coming month. Please, if you need that extra security, let the superintendent know so we can provide you that extra officers on campus.
Lucky for us, we're pretty much AP testing the last 2 weeks, so the kids have no choice but to be in a room testing. So it helps, the last 2 weeks be pretty common focused for us.
And once again, just want to repeat what everybody said. We're very happy of your performance. The campus is excellent. Your kids are great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Item 4C, quarterly update from Presidio presenter Ernesto Ortiz and the Presidio team.
Good evening, Board President Martinez, board members, Dr. Borrego. I'm going to try to go through this slide by slide. I'll let you know when the next one is up so that we can be in sync. This presentation really is to provide a quarterly update on the 2024 bond program as of April 21st, 2026. We'll walk or run through this presentation depending on the nonverbal cues I get from the dais. It's going to include an update on procurement, construction, financial status, and of course our schedules. I'd also like to highlight the key accomplishments at each one of the campuses. Overall, the program continues to move forward in alignment with the district priorities of safe, modern learning environments, transparency out to the community, as well as strong fiscal stewardship. So if you go to the next one, since our January update, we've made meaningful progress across the entire program. From a procurement standpoint, we've advanced key GMP packages strategically as we move through the major construction on the new builds. We've also been forward-thinking and making sure that we secured pricing on the FF&E for all the campuses district-wide. That was key because, as you know, as the war escalated in Iran, pricing has gone a little bit higher. And so we secured that pricing, and I'd like to give credit to both Veronica Campbell and Corina Heredia for their work on that and for their forward thinking. In construction, we've seen a lot of increased activity across all of the campuses, including all the major parts of the bond program, which was HVAC, roofing, and security upgrades, as well as early site work on the new builds. Just as important, we've maintained a strong focus on community outreach, on transparency through the process, on engaging the community throughout the entire bond program. So if you go to the next one, I'd like to talk a little bit about community engagement. Really, it's the cornerstone of the bond program, right? It's the one thing that we need to make sure that we're doing and that we're doing well. This quarter, we had open houses. We engaged the Cimarron community, Cimarron Canyon community in a couple of meetings alongside of our District 1 representative to make sure that they were well informed and some of their anxiety was put at ease. We've also met with the principals to get a pulse on how we're doing, to get feedback from them on the construction activities that are ongoing in their instructional learning environments. And we've had community meetings, both in person and virtual. These efforts, of course, ensure the stakeholders stay involved, they stay informed, and that we are listening to them. We are engaging with them to listen to any of their concerns so that we can reinforce trust as we deliver on these bond commitments. If you go to the next one, we've also expanded our digital communication strategy. So we knew that there was a gap, we identified a gap, and along with Dr. Borrego and Gustavo and his team, we decided that we would house our communications manager here at the district and then do something where we could be in sync. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have transformational Tuesdays and Thursdays where when we update our bond website with any of the different construction activities that are happening district-wide, we're also pushing that out through the different social media campaigns that the district has. And this helps us maintain just a consistent visibility. We want to be out there and we want to be evident about what's going on so that the community is aware throughout the entire program. Budget. I'd like to go to the next one to talk about a little bit about the budget. So from the financial perspective, the program remains in a very, very strong position. We've committed approximately 93% of the entire budget, with over $78 million already expended to date. We also, the district, continues to benefit from interest earnings on that on those bond funds, while also maintaining the program contingency for flexibility. As you know, that program contingency was built so that when we are finishing up these projects, we then move that down into a program contingency that will be used later at the board's discretion. Overall, I'm proud to say that the program is on track and it's well managed financially. I'd like to go to the next slide and just talk about the budgets per project. At the project level, I want to emphasize this, all campuses remain within their allocated budgets. All campuses remain within their allocated budgets. Renovation projects, of course, are moving further along because they're accelerated, with most of the funds already committed or spent. The new construction projects reflect what we expected on the early phase cost distribution. Now, this really shows and demonstrates that we have a disciplined financial management and oversight for the program overall. The next slide talks a little bit about the overall timeline, the schedule. From a schedule standpoint, we are progressing as planned. It is an accelerated schedule. 4-year programs like this are usually unheard of. It's usually a 5-year program, 6-year program. We've condensed it into a 4-year program, and we're committed to delivering on that 4-year program. Renovations are tracking toward completions, most of them at the end of the summer, 2026, with the high school as the exception. The dynamic of the high school, because we don't have that much swing space to change out every heat pump in the rooms, require us to work a little bit longer into 2027, while new construction extends into the fall of 2027, spring of 28. Right now, we're not seeing major schedule concerns, but we would bring that to you if we did. Let me go to the security upgrades. This is a big thing for us, and you know that. District-wide security upgrades continue to enhance safety at all of our campuses. At all of our campuses, our idea is to fortify them in a way that an event wouldn't occur. Should an event occur, communication is key. Time is of the essence. So this whole scope of work includes cameras, secure entry points, access control, emergency communication systems, things that we put in place so that our students are safe and secure. We're also implementing a lot of technology upgrades, Wi-Fi upgrades, infrastructure that support not only safety, but they support instruction as well. Most campuses in this scope of work are complete or they're nearing completion. The next one is high school. I want to talk about the high school specifically. It's progressing steadily across the multiple scopes of work at the high school. Key work involves mechanical upgrades. Mechanical upgrades were very important at the high school when we did the design charrettes with the community, roofing improvements, and of course the CTA enhancements. This quarter we achieved major milestones in that effort, including the installation of the cooling towers and a gas line installation to support the 4 new boilers. Interior renovations continue to move forward. On the next page are some pictures, and I want to highlight some of these critical infrastructure improvements. You can see how the new gas line was run and installed to support those 4 new boilers in the mechanical room. And the CTE classrooms, you can see, are getting upgraded so that we can support that long-term functionality of those classrooms. If you go to the next slide, you can see the continued roofing and mechanical system upgrades. The installation of TPO roofing and heat exchange systems not only improve the energy efficiency of the building, but also the reliability of the mechanical system for years to come. We go to the next one. Canutillo Elementary School has made significant progress. Major upgrades to include HVAC, roofing, flooring, interior work, ongoing through the different phases. The school has been more than willing to help us move students as we can throughout these different phases. But now we're moving into phase 3 construction. If you look at the next slide, it highlights the foundational infrastructure improvements that include plumbing to support the new HVAC units, roofing, demolition work so that we can put in new PA systems, new fire alarm systems, new infrastructure to support learning. These upgrades support really the long-term performance of the campus that was built in 1994, right? So we're about 32 years in, and they needed a refreshing, and they're getting that much needed refreshing. On the next slide, you can see visible transformation. You see the new flooring, the interior finishes, things that not only enhance the learning environment, but also lower your maintenance cost. LVT flooring like this does not need to be stripped and waxed every year. Maintenance crews and custodial crews have been trained on the proper maintenance and cleaning of these floors. All these things do is impact the student learning environment, and we're very proud to say that Canutillo Elementary School is ongoing. The next one is Childress Elementary School. Childress Elementary School was again constructed in 1994 along with Canutillo Elementary School. We're starting on phase 2 of that, and phase 3 is scheduled for the summer. Work includes, of course, the major system upgrades of HVAC, special systems like the fire alarms, PA systems, technology improvements to enhance the security, roofing enhancements, interior finishes. And we were also able to, because of your approval, begin to complete the new basketball court, the new post-tension basketball court that's progressing well. If you look at the next slide, you can see the highlights of the flooring installation, the fire alarm upgrades that are ongoing, and the site work tied to the basketball court. The next slide will show you that the interior finishes continue, along with the continued progress on that post-tension basketball court. Moving towards completion. We're waiting right now for paint and equipment to be installed on that. If we go to the next slide, it's Damian Elementary School. Damian was constructed in 1992. We've completed the first phase and have partially completed the second phase. Work on that includes, of course, the 3 major safety, security, HVAC, roofing, but also the special systems like fire alarms. And we were able to squeeze in some interior finishes like painting. We've also implemented a temporary covered walkway so that we could transition students and maintain their safety throughout the process. If you look at the next slide, it shows those key system upgrades, right? The fire alarms, the building automated systems for energy efficiency, gas line installations to support the packaged rooftop units. If you go to the next slide, it'll show you interior painting, rooftop unit installation. It continues across the campus. This is ongoing, and we continue to make great strides towards the completion of that project. If you go to the next one, it's Garcia Elementary School. Garcia Elementary School, I believe, was constructed in 2008, and we've completed major milestones in all 3 phases of that work. We're beginning to focus on the systems completion, the fire alarm, PA system, interior finishes. We've continued to work on the restroom upgrades that were a want and a need identified in the early design process. And of course, the canopies that now cover the playgrounds. If you go to the next slide, there's some pictures that highlight the electrical work that needed to go in to support the new mechanical systems. Temporary partitions, we wanted to show those to make sure you understood that whenever we move students from one phase to the other, temporary partitions are put up to separate the ongoing construction activities completely away from the instructional activities that are ongoing at the school. And of course, the ongoing restroom construction. On the next slide, you can see progress, including the exterior finishes that we're putting on those restrooms and the gas line installation that was needed for the rooftop units. If we go to the next one, Reyes Elementary School, Reyes Elementary School is nearing completion. We hope to bring that final payment and acceptance to you in May for approval so that we can get that retainage pushed out back to the general contractor. The most exciting thing that happened in this quarter was the installation of the new chiller and all the affiliated scope that went with that, to include pumps and building automated system controls. We are having a training on those systems on Thursday with the maintenance crew. Those trainings are recorded for perpetuity so that if they ever need a refresher, they can go back. If you look at the next page, you can see that all systems have been fully integrated, tested, and balanced, and the project is essentially complete. On the next page, you see the new build. So we want to start with the early college high school. It's very early in construction here. Permits are approved. Demolition of the 5 different portables that we needed to move out for underground utilities is complete. Site work is underway. If you go to the next slide, you can see that ongoing earthwork and grading activities. They're active out there. They're preparing for foundation, for footing, so that they can begin to go vertical. On the next slide, Canutillo Middle School. It's progressing well. Canutillo Middle School is well underway. Permits are approved. Foundation work is well underway with footings being poured or placed. And then, of course, the excavation that's needed in that one. If you look at the next slide, earthwork and grading continue. These slides are a little old. That's why we hope you sign up for the bond website, because we have a update every Tuesday and every Thursday, and that's really the way that you can see these in real time. We're preparing to go vertical on Canutillo Middle School as well. On the next slide, you can see Alderete Middle School. Early construction is underway. A lot of civil work is required on that site. The general contractor is well underway. The building permit has been secured, I'm happy to report. Grading and site work are already progressing. None of the permitting delayed any construction. We were already ongoing because of your approval of the GMPs, the early GMPs. We knew that we needed to accelerate. We had an accelerated schedule. We needed to get these GMPs in place while we waited for the permits. We do now have the permits. If you go to the next slide, you can see the continued site preparation and work. The retaining walls are being put up. On the next slide, you can see the retaining walls and the site development, how it continues to move forward. And last but not least, on the next slide, I'd like to show you Davenport Elementary School. Davenport Elementary School is showing very strong momentum. The project has already moved into vertical construction. Tilt walls panels are now being erected. If you go to the next slide, you can see how the structural progress is including wall panels, underground utilities. I encourage you, if you ever want to go see these sites, we'd like to take you out there so we can prepare the general contractor, make sure you get a vest and a hard hat, and we can take you around to see these things from the ground level. It's really exciting to see. I love the way that we're making progress on these, and I hope you do as well. In closing, the bond program continues to progress on schedule and within budget. And I know those are catchphrases that you hear, but I really want you to understand that we are within budget and we're progressing on schedule. I have been part of a few bond programs, and I can tell you this is the best one yet. There's an iron triangle, they call that in construction, where you have to weigh 3 things: time, cost, and money. Time, cost, and scope of work. And so if you put a stress on any one of those, the other 2 fail. We have been successful in maintaining that iron triangle and making sure that everything is within budget, within scope, and on time. We remain focused. My team and I remain focused. We know the mission. We're building high-quality, safe, and modern learning environments, and we're still remain committed to having that transparency and strong financial stewardship. We appreciate your help. We really do. We appreciate the way that you support us. We appreciate the way that you continue to encourage us to do our best. and we look forward to giving you our next update on this.
Thank you. Any questions?
Through the chair.
Ms. Maldonado, go ahead.
On the vestibules,
Yes.
they're going to mostly be phase 4?
Yes, well, so in conjunction with Dr. Borrego, Dr. Rico, what we are going to do is do all that during the summer so that we don't disturb any instruction.
That was my next question.
Yes.
And so they would be completed for the following school year?
That's
If
correct.
you work on them during the summer, correct?
correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The other question, at Garcia, on the new restroom rooftop or roof deck,
Yes.
is it metal or, I don't know
It'll
what
be
you call that?
TPO, that's just the roof deck. So
On
the
top of
picture
that-
you see, so on top of that will be TPO.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
A TPO membrane, yes.
That's it for me.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead, Ms. Barnes.
Sorry, Ms. Borrego. Okay, so on the first overall budget page, we have a breakdown of our interest earned to date. I don't believe we've gotten a breakdown of our interest and what has been spent. I know at one point we had gotten part of it, but was that a total breakdown of everything that had been spent out of the interest money, Ms. Pulley? Perfect, thank you. And then Ms. Maldonado asked my questions about the vestibule because really want those in place, so I'm glad
Yes.
to hear that those will be happening in the summer.
Yes.
For the technology upgrades, I saw that Canutillo High School is still awaiting the Wi-Fi upgrades. Do we know approximately when that's going to happen?
I believe that Claudia, and I can't remember her last name, escapes me, works for the IT department. She's pending a walkthrough
Okay.
with the vendor. So it's like a pre-construction conference. So
Okay.
we're just waiting on that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then for the other technology upgrades that have been put in place, like with the interactive whiteboards, was training provided for those interactive whiteboards so that we know how they're being utilized?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Along with an operating manual.
Perfect. And then those the videos that you said for maintenance that we're saving in case, down the road we need to access those. Are those being saved digitally? Or are we going to have an actual manual book for that maintenance? How is that going to work?
There will be maintenance and operation manuals, and those videos are digital.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Are we going to keep a hard copy at all, Dr. Rico?
Hi, Ms. Martin. So yes, we're keeping a hard copy at the campus.
Okay, perfect.
We're keeping one at a centralized repository at facilities, and we're also requiring the contractor a digital copy, and then Presidio will be handing off the project with another set of digital copies. You want to make sure that they don't get misplaced.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Sorry, there was one other. So for CMS, the canal approval, I know you said that we got approval for construction permit. Do
Yes.
we have the canal approval yet
The
for,
New Mexico Canal, no, we expect that in June.
in June? Okay.
Yes.
And I think that was my last one. Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay,
I do have one more. On the whiteboards
Yes.
that Ms. Barnes just mentioned, all campuses have those now, right?
Correct. In every
Middle
classroom.
schools, high schools, elementaries?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ortiz, thank you. This is possibly the best presentation I've seen in a long time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It's very thorough, to the point, good photographs. We like that. Thank you. I have a couple of questions. I noticed that early college, it's only 7% complete, whereas Canutillo Middle School and Alderete, there's 15, 16% complete. Can you tell me what happened there? Are we just a lot of dirt to be moved?
So on the early college high school, we had to remove those, we had to demo those portables. We had a lot of underground utility work that needed to be completed. Some of the grading there also, we ran into an issue where we had to bring out the geotech again for the footprint of the building. That stalled construction a little bit, not to the point where it's going to affect the schedule though.
So you brought them in because we found clay or some bad soil?
Soil, really, silt that they had in
Okay.
question, and they wanted to take additional cores.
Thank you. Is there any way we can speed up that process? 7% compared to Canutillo Middle School is 16. Canutillo Calderete is 17. Davenport is 22.
Yes.
Please. Thank you. The other question that I have is, please ask your team to really follow as-bills, okay? Make sure when they go to the job site, making sure the contractor is identifying all the changes. For example, we have a big gas line at Canutillo High School. Just make sure we locate that, with the dimension, with the red line. Make sure we are able to identify it in case somebody wants to put a tree there down the line.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Then I have another question. Train our facility. I'm glad you're training our staff, because sometimes we forget. We change staff as they retire, making sure someone knows how to train them, because this floor is fantastic, but the minute that we apply water in there, like we've done it before, it becomes a mess.
Yes,
Okay?
I agree.
Specifically the TPO, tell them you can walk up there just like nothing. It's a very important material that anybody can penetrate, especially when they drop a hammer on top. I have another question. Once again, the schedule is interesting, and I like that we're going to be done by October of 2027. Is
That's the
that
goal.
what we're looking
Well,
at?
The goal is August of 2027, to
Okay.
open them up in August of 2027.
That would be fantastic. One of what caught my eye and really has been the months that our plans have been with the city for permit.
Correct, yes.
That's a lot of months. That's almost 6-7 months. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, and I do appreciate your time in really pushing it through, and whoever, I know the superintendent met with the mayor, Dr. Rico met with the mayor, and we asked him to please help us out, and that was fantastic. Sometimes that's what we need to do.
Yes, I became very familiar with downtown El Paso because I was there almost every week. Me and my crew, we were there, and we pretty much set up shop so that along with the architects, we could go through the different processes. When it goes to the city for approval, of course, they parse it out, all the different mechanical, electrical, landscaping, and everything. It was the coordination that we found was not complete. Their Excel software would go down, so they were doing stuff through email. It was just the coordination effort but the meeting with Mr. Mayor Johnson seemed to help.
Thank you. And one of the things that I would like for us board to do is possibly walk the site. I think it will be important for us to look the construction that our taxpayers are paying for to build these facilities will be very important to communicate to the people that we represent. So you let us know when you're available so that hopefully, Mr. Ortiz, if you can please allow us to visit a couple of your sites, maybe every now and then, please.
These are your sites. You let me know when you want to go, and we'll make it happen. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the report.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
I would just recommend maybe that should be a scheduled workshop where we could go as a board, so that way we all get the same information versus.
Mr. Rodriguez, excellent idea. Yes, I like that. Dr. Borrego, will you please take care of this if possible?
Yes, sir.
So do I. I walk through there. I see all this progress, and
You do.
boy, it's crazy.
It is.
It is like.
Every day, 5 times a day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ortiz.
Mr. President, may I?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'd also like to thank Representative Alejandra Chavez. She was also instrumental in helping us get the permits. Her and her team have been very receptive. So again, shout out to her team as well.
Thank you, Dr. Borrego.
Item 4D, budget update presentation by Ms. Christy Pulley.
Good evening, Board, President Martinez, Dr. Borrego. I'm bringing you an update as far as the budget development and where we are at this moment. We're going to update you on our revenue projections as well as assumptions that we're building into our projections and next steps. So one of the factors that's affecting our projections from the last time that we met is a change in the hold harmless. So there has been a change in the calculation. The homestead exemption, as you know, was raised from 100,000 to 140. And in January, the comptroller released its preliminary values, which is pretty standard. They do this every January, and that's when we start using those numbers to do projections. However, TA came back and said that there's a change in the calculation of the amount that they're going to hold us harmless, in particular in elderly and individuals over 65. So with this new recalculation, the comptroller released amended preliminary values, and those values were released on March 13th, so now we've implemented this into our funding formula. And the effect to the district is about $1.4 million loss in revenue. So now with this loss, that we've incorporated this loss in revenue, there's a new forecast for the current school year. At the previous meeting, we had anticipated to end the year with a $2.3 million surplus. However, now it's about $978,000. Still close to $1 million, but not where we had talked the previous time. As we move forward in the budget development, we are using the following assumptions as we build fiscal year 27. We're still using an attendance rate of 94%. Our property values increase is going to be 13%, no land sales. And we're implementing, and we'll bring this forward, of course, for approval, an employee retention stipend, a one-time stipend to be given to employees, the cost about $427,000. And then also, we've incorporated additional expenditures. So these are the results of operating needs assessments. Now, these are not final. These are still going under evaluation. We're going to go through them to see what is necessary, what can we forego, or what can we put off until maybe where there's more funding available. So those operating needs assessments from the departments amount to about $1.3 million. Staffing needs, we have completed our staffing needs assessments. However, we're still going through the process of how we're going to do changes, any reorganizations, which will be addressed at the next agenda item. And then there's also a loss anticipated in the healthcare fund. So we anticipate that we may need to infuse about $800,000 into our healthcare fund. So building these assumptions into our forecast, we are projecting a $1.9 million deficit. Now, of course, this is still a work in progress. We will balance the budget. That's what we're going to be doing, and we're going to bring forth a strategy and the next agenda item. With level funding, if we add expenditures, something's going to need to be addressed and either moved out or reorganized. Something will have to be done because we only have, there's only one pie and you can only divvy it up so many ways. So with that, and of course, we're going to be discussing that at the next agenda item. So moving forward, we have our next steps. We have completed the needs assessments for personnel and operations. We also obtained the budget priorities for DAC, and those will be provided to you in a Thursday packet. And then we are ongoing budget workshops until June when we adopt the budget. In next month, we will be bringing forth a compensation package for your consideration at the next board meeting. And then, of course, in June, the final adoption of our budget. Any questions?
Any questions? Ms. Barnes, go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Foley, for this. So I want to be clear. So the Texas Comptroller, when they released this is different than what they originally told us it was going to be, correct?
Correct. So we received our preliminary values. These are still not our final values. Mm-hmm. Those we won't receive until August.
Okay.
But yes, they reassessed it and recalculated. the hold harmless number that will be used for state funding.
And did they state why the change was made?
TA did provide an explanation of the way that the hold harmless was affecting, in particularly the frozen levies for disabled and over 65. So they just redid their calculation. And so the original calculation they had presented to the comptroller was, I'm not sure if just didn't have the effect or new interpretation of the law. And so they asked for it to be redone, and the comptroller obliged and provided new numbers.
Okay, so is this a normal change that occurs after the
It hasn't
January?
happened
Before? Okay.
Before, from my knowledge.
Okay, that's good to know. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. I can't imagine how frustrating that was when that came through. My next question has to do with the forecast for the fiscal year 2027. So I'm seeing under the expenditures and other uses, we have 65,791,000 and some change for the forecast of fiscal year 2026. And then it goes up to 68,285,000 and some change for fiscal year 25. Is there a reason for the almost $2.5 million difference increase in expenditures?
Yes, so that's a result of our needs assessments. So
Okay.
that's already built in there. However, like I mentioned before, this is still, it's still, we're still working on the budget. So this is just where we are today.
Currently.
We're going to evaluate those needs.
Okay, and then, so does that include the operating needs assessment of the 1.267?
Yes.
And the healthcare infusion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that was covered in there. And then the $2 million for other sources that's shown in the revenue, that was the land sale, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Anybody else?
So I had the same question regarding the expenditures. So you're saying that under expenditures and other uses, it's based on the needs assessment report that we just got last month?
No, so I sit down with every department and we go through the budget and we look at, address any surpluses that they had or any needs that they see coming for the next year. Most of those needs have been increases in software. There's a need for some SPED school buses. So depending on their particular department, if there is a need that can't be addressed within their current budget, it's being considered for funding.
All right, so it's that, because for F26, it's 978,000.
Yes, so we have a surplus because we had increased property tax collections from what
Okay.
we originally had adopted.
But next year, it's going to be in a deficit of 1.9.
Right, if we were
It's
to.
what's forecasted.
Correct. If we were to fund everything that is requested, then that's where we would be. However, we're working through a strategy to reduce other expenditures.
And then can you explain to me the difference between, so because of the increase there, it's, the total fund balance is less,
Correct.
right? And can you explain the administration assigned FB technology refresh? In 26, it was 2.3. In 27, it's 3.0.
Yes, so we set aside funds for the one-to-one devices of $750 every year. Now, I still left it at the bottom line for the current year. However, we have spent and we've taken advantage of savings because we anticipate the rising cost of technology. So we accelerated those purchases in the current school year. So those numbers will change, but the bottom line won't.
So what you're saying is because it's showing more for FY27, it's because you've accelerated the use.
Right, so we have, it's kind of like a little savings account that we have set aside for the replenishment of those devices. So we've set aside $750,000. So if we use, like this year, we've used the entire allotment already. So next year, that number will actually be 750. but it's going to be consumed in fiscal year 26.
Okay.
So it'll be part of expenditures.
All right. And again, that explains the unassigned fund balance being lower.
Yes.
And it explains the fund balance days. Because we're going from 56 now to 39. That's huge.
Right.
Huge difference.
Yes, ma'am.
And so my question is, because what the TA decided to do with the homesteads, we're now being considered a property-rich district, or will be.
So the reason why we're a property-rich district is because our values are growing faster than the state.
Right. So if that's the case, then we have to turn around and pay the state back.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are we getting those funds from?
It'll come from property. So basically, we're collecting too much in property taxes. So we have the option to either have them reduce our state funding by that amount, or we can actually physically pay it back from our property tax collections.
Okay. And is that the revenues from the local that you're showing here under the general fund forecast?
Yes.
Are those property taxes included in the revenues under local?
Yes.
So with that, I see that for 26, it was 27.2, forecasted 28.4. However, when you compare the general fund forecast for 27, it's increased. It goes from 28.4 to 29.8.
Yes. So we're anticipating a 13% growth, but we also have compression. So we expect for our tax rate to go down as well.
Okay. So bottom line, where do we stand right now? Today, April 21st, as far as budget? Because last month we had a surplus. Now you're explaining that because of what TA decided, we're not in a surplus. What is the deficit we're in right now?
We're for fiscal year 26, we are
Right now, April 21st.
We're projecting a surplus of 978,000.
So that's the projection right now.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we budget in April, I'm sorry, in June, it's going to be with a surplus?
No, so as we finish this year, we expect to close the year with a surplus. We adopted a balanced budget, but we do anticipate to close the year with a surplus.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? I have a question. Go ahead, Mr.
Go ahead.
Ms. Pulley, one thing that I noticed, the health infusion, obviously it's 800,000. It's a chunk of money every single year. It appears that never stops growing. I mean, it's obviously, something that we need to look at very seriously. Can you give us an idea, every year it grows what percent or a hard figure?
So it just depends. Of course, rising cost of healthcare is a problem across the nation. It's not just something that's unique to this district. We changed our advisors. We now have Gallagher. We actually have an RFP out right now for a new insurance plan. So we'll see the results of those, and we'll bring those forward to you all in June, I believe.
In June? Thank you. But yes, it's always a problem. That's the biggest hit that we get every single year. And I'm sorry the state decided to change their mind. It's kind of interesting when they tell us what they're going to give us, and all of a sudden they change their mind, just like that. Big Daddy changes his mind. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
I guess just one of the concerns I have, this is our second budget workshop since the February board meeting, and I'm hoping to have more, but we should have had more previously, especially looking at the deficit. And I get it. I mean, our tax base is increasing versus our student growth, and based on, funding that hasn't kept up with inflation from the state, not including that, the new money that they gave us from the last legislative session was restricted, so it didn't allow us to address some of those. And then as where we see enrollment not where we need to. And not only that, I mean, you had the ESSER cliff, you have costs that are rising faster than what our revenues are, so the inflation is continuing to affect us. I mean, my biggest frustration is where's the accountability with the Texas comptroller when he said they were going to make up those, you know, the difference between the increased in homestead exemption, and now they're really trying to hurt, and that's their intent, let's be honest. Their intent is to hurt public schools and the continued frustration. So we need to look at other forecasting models when it comes to this. I've suggested, you know, the 3-year forecasting models because, you know, during maybe the first year we start seeing the problem, in the second, if it gets worse, you adjust, and if not, you're able to stabilize or figure out how we could really address that. But it allows us to use the data early and project forward. So as we continue to see the state continuing to try to privatize public ed and really trying to make us look like we don't know how to manage their budget, our budget, when they're the ones that are trying to hurt us.
I do have something else.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Go ahead, Ms. Maldonado.
So did I hear you say that you're looking at changing the insurance again?
Yeah, we're evaluating. As one of the measures that we're taking is to reevaluate our current plan.
So the current plan has been in existence 1 year, correct?
2 years.
2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And right now it is who?
We have it through Aetna.
Aetna.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gallagher is managing that.
Correct.
Correct.
And the one we had before?
We had Blue Cross.
Blue Cross. Okay. My other question was, I lost it. Let me think. It was the insurance. Oh, I know. Based on what Mr. Rodriguez said, I had already asked Dr. Borrego, and I had run it through the board president, that we had been requesting that we get a budget report monthly, every month. Just a budget report telling us what are our revenues, what are our expenditures, what is our daily fund balance, what is every month. Because he's right, the last one we got was in February, and then we're told something else, and it's kind of misleading. So I had asked Dr. Borrego that if we could make this a practice, a common practice, to where we have a budget report, not a very detailed one, every single month. Because normally what happens since I've been on the board is that we don't get too many of them, and then when we have to adopt the budget, lo and behold, wow, surprise, slap in the face, we're in a deficit. So it's imperative, I think, Dr. Borrego, that we do have this a report every single month at a regular board meeting, please.
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado, if the board president approves, we will provide that.
Yes. Let me. I agree with Mr. Rodriguez said. We need to be able to plan ahead. We need to be able to look at the budget specifically, in my opinion, from January all the way through June. Please, I think that's important. And I do understand that things change, and we're looking at the change right now. And obviously, there's absolutely nothing we can do. We just, like I said, you know, Big Daddy's telling us what to do, and they're taking the money any which way they want, without hesitation. They don't even touch their heart. They just take it out, not fully understanding how it's affecting the small district.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Poole.
So do you approve the monthly?
In my opinion, I would like to see the budget starting in January, February, March, April, May, and June. And June, hopefully, we can have it tied together so that we can, once again, you know, plan for the following year. Please.
Yes, sir.
Are you okay with that option, Ms. Maldonado?
I would recommend quarterly, but when it comes to the budget planning process, we need to have more workshops when it comes to especially the new year and when we're planning that fiscal year. I think especially if we're starting to see a continued, you know, in regards to the revenues versus expenditures, whether it's inflation or the information I mentioned, If we're seeing that, I think then we have to meet monthly, and like it is happening currently. But if we do have a balanced budget, and if the state were to ever fund us the way they're supposed to, then I would see where we could probably ease off on that. But as of right now, I would like to see probably quarterly in January, and then 2-3 months after, or every other month. But that would
Thank
be
you,
my
Mr. Rodriguez. Ms. Borrego, go ahead.
Just really quickly, I was in conversation with another superintendent of one of the big districts here in town, and when this news came out, he was devastated because they were about to adopt a sort of balanced budget, right? Not as big of a deficit, and theirs is even going to be bigger because of their enrollment, of course. So I agree with Mr. Rodriguez, and what we're talking about here is about managing and good communication. But I also agree, working with budgets monthly is, in my opinion, I think quarterly you'll see a change, and it's effective to see that change, plus or minus. This one just happened to hit us because we're going to get decrease in the funding with this, and what Mr. Rodriguez said is true. Unfortunately, public school funding, people don't understand the whole dynamics of it, and they want choice, but they don't understand what choice does to kids in public schools. So that's my opinion on that. And I think we do need to have some budget workshops. Good job, we're doing well this year. You promised that we would do well, and we're doing well. And I think that even though we took this hit, there's ways that we could address it together.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ms. Maldonado, go ahead.
So I'm okay with the quarterly from the first start of the school year, but I really feel that we need to be on top of it second semester. And so I'm not asking for a complete detail, just where do we stand with the revenues, expenditures, what's our fund balance, and the days. Just, that's it.
Yes, ma'am.
And if any changes, just a brief explanation type thing. That's what I would like, starting, like you said, January, February, March, April, May, and then in June, we adopt the budget.
And one of the biggest concerns that I see is we get to April, May, and June, and we're struggling to really make ends meet, just like any other family up there. And I think if we look in January, perhaps maybe March, possibly May, if we can offset every other month and just be ready, not a full report, but just to make us aware of where we stand, what we need to do in order to balance it for the following year. Can we do that, Mr. Borrego? We'll discuss it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Pulley. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Item number 5, Board of Trustees business. Item 5A, discussion and possible action to approve the recommendation of the superintendent to implement a reduction in force under policy DFFB local and to consider recommended program changes and affected employee areas. Presenter, Dr. Borrego, Ms. Martha Carrasco.
Good evening, President Martinez, board members. Tonight, I bring forward a difficult but necessary recommendation for your consideration. This conversation is centered on how we ensure the long-term stability of our district while continuing to prioritize student outcomes. Over the past several weeks, we have conducted a comprehensive review of our district's financial position, enrollment trends, and organizational structure. We are currently facing a projected budget shortfall, roughly about 1.9 million, declining enrollment, and we are realigning our current staff to our current student needs. While we have taken steps to reduce expenditures in other areas, those actions alone are not sufficient to close the gap in a sustainable way. As a result, we must align our staffing and programs to our current reality. I want to be clear, this is not simply about reducing positions. This is about redesigning how we deliver instruction and services to better meet the needs of our students with the resources that we have. This process we have reviewed program effectiveness, analyzed enrollment, staffing patterns across campuses, and identified opportunities to streamline and strengthen our instructional model. This includes restructuring master schedules, consolidating under-enrolled programs, and refining staffing formulas, among other things. Based on this analysis, I'm recommending that the board authorize the administration to move forward with a proposed reduction in force. At this stage, this recommendation is focused on positions, not individuals. The specific positions affected will be determined through a process aligned with board policy and state law. The process will follow all requirements outlined in district policy, including Texas Board Policy, DFF local, and applicable state law. We will ensure that all decisions are made using clearly defined criteria, applied consistently and fairly, and that all employee rights and due process protections are honored. The criteria used in this process will include certification and qualifications, performance and evaluation data, districts and campus program needs. These factors will guide the decisions to ensure we retain the strongest possible workforce aligned to student needs. At this time, we anticipate this process may impact approximately 5 to 10 people from central office. The final number may adjust as we complete the full review and ensure alignment with program needs and compliance requirements. If approved tonight, the next steps will include finalizing position determinations, notifying affected employees within required timelines, providing opportunities for hearings or appeals as applicable, bring final recommendations back to the board for action. Our goal is to carry out this process with urgency, clarity, and respect. I want to acknowledge that behind every position is a person who has contributed to this district. We are committed to handling this process with professionalism, dignity, and transparency, and to supporting our staff through the transition. At this time, I'm asking the board to approve the administration's recommendation to proceed with the proposed reduction in force in accordance with district policy and state law. This action does not finalize any terminations tonight, but allows us to begin the formal process necessary to ensure the long-term stability of our district and continued focus on student success. At the end of this presentation, you may ask questions. Please flip to the next slide. One of the most famous superintendents, Dr. Michael Hinojosa, quoted this, and I quote, he says, "None of this is going to be fun. It's one of the most difficult things we'll ever have to do, but it's what we're elected to do. The decision is about taking control and controlling our collective destiny."
Board, we will discuss funding and our funding formulas just a little bit, not as in-depth as the previous presentation. However, as you all know, there's two main funding sources for school districts, one being property taxes and the other one being state funding, which is I just want to reiterate what was presented earlier. One of the factors that's affecting our state funding is the impact of the hold harmless. In November of 25, voters approved an increase to the hold harmless from 100,000 to 140. The state told the ISDs that they would make up this difference as a process called the hold harmless. Now, we were notified in March about the reduction of this hold harmless figure, and the impact to the Canutillo was about $1.4 million. As we talked about this before, we are also an accelerated property growth district. We are growing at a faster rate than the state average, and we are anticipating to be a property-rich district and enter into recapture. Recapture in layman's terms is kind of a Robin Hood effect of the funding system. Canutillo ISD will be sending money back to the state to help property poor districts throughout the state. We anticipate our recapture payment to be about $42,000 in fiscal year 26 and $171,000 in fiscal year 27. The other factor affecting our funding is enrollment. So our enrollment trends over the past 4 years, we have lost 472 students. We anticipate and project to lose an additional 86 students in fiscal year 27. The bottom line to this factor is that we have lost at least $3.3 million. This is only in the basic allotment. Of course, students, depending on their demographics, will generate additional funding to assist them through their education. But at the minimum, we have lost about $3.3 million. Now, the other factor that will drive funding is our attendance rates, or our ADA. Not only do we need to have the students, but they also need to attend classes. This is not only vital and important for funding, but it's vital for student learning. As you can see, we've increased our attendance rate, and we are projected to end at what we had forecasted at actually a little higher. We had forecasted 94%. We are currently at 94.58%. In addition, in efforts to maintain a balanced budget, we have implemented some cost-saving measures. Some of those measures have been to reduce personnel. We have done this for 2 funding cycles in a row. We've restricted locally funded travel. We've eliminated hospitality and other non-essential expenditures. We requested discounted rates from our vendors. We've reduced department budgets by 10%. We've eliminated the marketing budget. We consolidated software to avoid any duplications. We've established a hiring freeze for non-essential personnel. We've also consolidated duties of multiple employees and departments into existing positions. Now, these expenditures have, although these expenditures have helped the district be fiscally sound, there may be an additional implication to these savings. Dr. Kearney?
Okay, and here we discuss some of the possible unintended consequences of the budget challenges we have experienced in recent years. This is our historical performance data, and as you can see, we have observed a steady performance decline that may be correlated to some of our budget issues. As you are aware, we have steadily declined from an A rating to a C rating, and although we, just as many other districts, were negatively impacted by the A through F refresh of 2023, which resulted in many A districts becoming B districts, we were doubly impacted by both the refresh and RIFs that we had, which impacted CCMR and our overall accountability. For example, some of our staff members that were facing RIFs, as you might recall, had to leave and had to find other jobs, and this was concentrated partially in our secondary campuses. And this impacted our achievement, certification completion, CCMR scoring, and overall accountability. But while we acknowledge that there are other factors at play that we are also addressing, we do see that there were budget impacts. And if you go to the CCMR slide, I don't know if you're already there. On this slide, you can see where our CCMR has suffered those declines that we discussed. And we have discussed those in recent presentations like last month. Currently for 2026, our graduates, as was presented earlier, we are looking at an increase, but historically we were struggling based on those budget constraints that impacted us negatively. And at this time, Dr. Rico will discuss the reductions.
Good evening, everybody. You might see a deviation from this slide to the one that you had in your presentation, and that's because we were burning the midnight oil bringing this presentation to you. We've heard you loud and clear. We don't want to impact instruction. We don't want to impact campuses, teachers. I want to commend every one of you. I know the decisions were hard the previous 2 years when we had to let go of classroom positions. We had to let go of campus positions. But we remain committed to stay the course. And the reductions, as you can see here, although do not equal $1.9 million yet, right? We will continue working on this and trying to see how we can streamline operations here, who can absorb on extra duties, who can do who other's job, so that we can still continue to run the school district efficiently, but really leaning out. So you see that we have identified about $500,000 in district administration centrally located, right? So we are forecasting with your approval tonight that we can go ahead and save about $500,000 there. The other two do not impact humans, do not impact personnel. We're looking at working with Ms. Pooley on some reclassification opportunities with new funding guidelines, and also reclassifying the purchase of some software along with removing or reductions in anything that is duplicated. So although we're halfway there, we are proud to stand before you and tell you that the impact on personnel itself, as Dr. Borrego mentioned earlier in his presentation, is, although always great because it impacts our family, we try to reduce it to just central office personnel. We haven't gotten there yet, but we will continue analyzing those budget priorities brought on by different campuses and continue to see this as what it is, a work in progress, where we can see through attrition, through retirement, through whatever means, we can continue to provide a great product in the classroom and at the same time be able to be fiscally conservative as well with the funds that we have. And we'll turn it back to Ms. Pulley or Ms. Carrasco.
Yes, so to address some of our healthcare concerns, I know Mr. Martinez brought that up earlier, but anyway, as you can see on this slide, it shows several years that the district has kept its health monthly contribution per employee flat at $623. But in 2 years, you can see that the district had to inject $1 million to keep the health plan stable. For 25-26, the district increased its contribution to $723 and is currently projecting an $800,000 infusion by the end of the year. Currently, right now, I believe the deficit there is at $600,000, but we're projecting that there's going to be other expenses coming in between now and the end of the year, so we're projecting the $800,000. This suggests that the healthcare costs keep rising, and the district is trying to reduce the reliance on one-time funding. So that is why we've gone out for an RFP, and we're going to examine what the vendors are going to bring back to us, and of course, all of that will be presented to you in the June board meeting. I know that Dr. Borrego is asking for a reduction in force based on policy DFFB, and that's the same policy that we've used in the last 2 years. Basically, this policy is due to, or we use it when we need, when there is a reduction in force due to a program change that requires the non-renewal of a term contract. A program change may be due to a redirection of resources, efforts to improve efficiency, a change in enrollment, lack of student interest in or response to course offerings, or a reorganization or a consolidation of campuses, departments, or even school districts. So basically, this is what this policy is for. And as mentioned already, there is criteria that we use when we have a reduction in force that we abide by when we start looking at the employees that are going to be affected. And Dr. Borrego, I believe, has already mentioned that it's qualifications, it's performance, extra duties, professional background, and seniority. Those are the criteria that we look at whenever we have to make a decision to reduce our staffing. Historically, like I said, we've done a couple of them already. Basically, this would be RIF 3.0. If you look at the next slide here that we have, I just wanted, I know there's been questions about, central office staff. And I know that when we did RIF 1, we reduced the number by 11 for central office. Also, when we did RIF 2.0, we reduced by 19. So that's already 30 less positions at central office. And currently, we're looking at a potential for RIF 3.0, probably about 5 positions that we're looking at. I know you may wonder, okay, why 5? But as you can see, We've already reduced by 30. And so now some of those duties, of course, have been re-infused into other positions as far as, people taking on additional workload. And so that's how we've been managing so far. But again, if need be, then there is some additional cuts that we are forecasting to look at. Gustavo?
Yes, thank you. Next slide, please. Board, as you know, for the past 3 years, we have been facing a funding cycle that is impacted by some critical factors here and critical things that are not always internal. We continue to not realize the enrollment in the school district that we could realize, and that's mainly due to the lack of convenient campuses locations in our growing neighborhoods. We know that more than 3,000 students who live within our boundaries never have enrolled in our schools, and that means a loss of more than $30 million every year. So we're hopeful that the bond and the construction that's happening in those growing neighborhoods is going to reverse that trend. Another trend continues to be as you heard earlier today, the increase in healthcare costs and the economy that is impacted by rising costs in fuel, and therefore almost everything that is necessary to operate a school district is also rising in cost, including utilities. So that is impacting our budget as well. Lastly, as you know, the Texas legislature continues to pass laws that impacts funding for school districts and impact the way we operate. The word in everyone's mouth this cycle is vouchers. More than 500,000 students or families applied for a voucher in Texas this cycle, the first cycle. We still await decision from the state to see which students will be or which families will receive those vouchers. We don't know the exact impact in Canutillo, but we anticipate that about 100 families who live within our boundaries have applied for a voucher. So we don't know what the impact will be for us. What we do know is that of those more than 500,000 families that have applied for a voucher, most of them are already enrolled in private schools. So the intended use of those families pulling from our students to a private school is not there, but we still don't know how that will impact if we have to lose ADA plus funding for them as well. So we're waiting on that decision from the state to determine how it will impact. Next slide. This may not come as much solace, but we're not alone in this. As these news clippings show, school districts from all over the state, including every district here in El Paso County, is struggling to make ends meet and are making difficult decisions. Canutillo, though, we have a light at the end of the tunnel. The voter support for the bond means that we are placing schools in the right neighborhoods. We know that we will secure and we will realize the type of enrollment that will stabilize our budget and help us reach our full potential. So we're very hopeful. We just got to hold on for that. Next slide is just a reminder of the cycle for you and the timeline for you to approve the budget. We're going to have more information for you as we move forward with special meetings and ultimately the approval of the budget by the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Gustavo. Any questions? Ms. Barnes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question over the, on the page where we're talking about things that we've already done, the steps that we've already taken to reduce the expenditures. So it mentions here the elimination of the marketing budget. We budgeted for additional marketing, correct?
Not for the current cycle.
That was
no.
last.
That was the
Sorry.
previous cycle,
Okay,
yes.
I'm mixing them up. All right, thank you. And then for the last RIF that happened, I know it says here that there were 19 positions from central office only. I just want to be clear because I know that we did RIF non-central office positions last time, but we're saying that 19 specifically came from central office, and then there were some that were in addition to that at the campuses, correct?
That's correct. There were, I believe, probably the first year, there were probably about 21 positions from the campuses. And then and last year, there was about, I believe, 30. So the campuses have also taken a hit as far as the reduction. Yes, as far as the RIF. But I wanted to highlight the central office has also been reduced.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear because we're already getting calls about this and asking, of course, is it coming to the campuses, right? So I wanted to be clear that we're identifying that the RIFs have happened both at campuses and central, trying to focus as much as possible on central. And this one that we would be looking to possibly move forward with would, as of right now, be for central office only. Okay. In regard to, I wanted to kind of piggyback on a parent who came and spoke tonight at Open Forum. So I know that we have, you said 3,000 students, Gustavo, that we know of that are going, that have never even enrolled in our districts. But I'm going to push a little bit because we also know that there are a lot of students who have come to our districts and they have left for whatever the reasons are. And there's a lot of them. So I know that we don't have that marketing budget because it wasn't in the budget this year, but what are we physically doing to reach the students that we've lost and the students that never enrolled?
So what we have done is, other than the word of mouth sort of things that happen through social media and other aspects, and making sure that they realize the potential, the programs that we have. What we've also done is we've increased our awareness of customer service to make sure that our families that are coming into our school districts, into our schools, are treated like they wish to be treated, right? We want to make sure that we continue that process. We're also have engaged with the Village of Vinton, since we see a lot of growth there, to make sure we're targeting those families that are moving in. The Village of Vinton has several subdivisions that are under construction, and these are families that we know are pretty much going to come to our schools. So we have engaged with them door to door, leaving information, making sure that they are aware of the programs that are offered in our schools, what schools they're zoned into, what our high school offers, Northwest Early College, the middle school, all that. So we do continue to engage with them. It is more rudimentary since we don't have a marketing budget, but we are aware that we need to step up and make sure that we're reaching those families. We also, as you may be aware, continue to work with neighborhood associations. We know those are resources that are free for us, and we can engage with them, making sure that they're excited about the schools that are coming their way, making sure that they're aware of the progress that is happening, and ultimately just working with groups like students, being engaged in the community, being out at the outlet malls on the weekends, and raising the profile of the school district so that the perception of the school district, the image of the school district continues to improve.
Perfect. And
Ms. Barnes, may I add to
yes,
that?
absolutely.
So we've expanded our advanced high school academic offerings, P-Tech, our CTE, some of our dual credit pathways. We've opened up extracurricular activities at the Northwest Early College.
Oh, good.
So band, sports will be available to students that previously did not have access to those opportunities. We've also opened up our advanced academics for middle schools. So we saw a contingent of students that left because we closed those offerings. So we've reopened those AP Spanish offerings at both of our Canutillo Middle School and Alderete Middle School. We've also established a bus hub that will transport students from their elementary to their middle school, specifically at Reyes Elementary. I know it was an issue because of the distance. And so to help parents for convenience, we will have a bus drop-off. Students will go into the campus, and then we will transport those middle school students onto our middle schools. And so those are some of the things that we've been doing to be proactive in the community.
Thank you for that. And I think all of that feedback is really good because it shows that we're listening to the concerns that our families are having and the things that we can try to put into place to help. So thank you for all of those systems. Have we done anything to reach out to realtors? Because literally there is growth on every area of Canutillo right now. So are we tapping into those free resources, like you said, with the neighborhood associations and so on and so forth? Realtors are free access to us, right? We can go and we can team up with them and ask them to be part of our Canutillo team to show all of these great things that we're doing. There are so many realtors around here. So how are we utilizing them to tap into that with the growth that's coming and happening?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So we have been in contact with some of the builders in our area, and we've asked, hey, as you build new homes, please market some of our material. We know that the area around Bill Childress is starting to boom, also across the highway here. And so, again, we're expanding our fine arts offering. We'll have orchestra at the middle school. And so, again, we're listening to families. We're listening to our students. We're getting the word out, and, hopefully we'll see this turnaround.
Do we know, not neighborhood associations, realtor associations? I'm sure that there are, right? Have we?
Yes, we have, and we're actually in conversations with them to have a one-on-one meeting with them. As we want to host them here, spend a little bit of money, feed them lunch, give them all the information that we have, make sure they take away all our collateral, and they can walk away well-versed on the programs we offer, the advantage of living in our community, and especially about the new schools that are coming up.
Perfect. And yeah, absolutely. And the apartments that are going up, I'm assuming, because we have quite a few that are going up or partially open here in the neighborhoods too. So are we contacting those apartment complexes with that same information?
That's a good idea. I haven't done so, but there is an apartment association as well that I'll reach out to as well. Yeah.
Okay, even better. Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
I move that we
Hold on.
take action. You can ask questions after. I'm going to make the motion, though. I move that we approve the recommendation of the administration to implement a reduction of force under policy DFFB local and to consider recommended program changes in affected employment areas.
Do I hear a second to Ms. Borrego's motion?
I second.
Okay. For discussion, let's discuss it. Dr. Borrego, are we talking about reducing our marketing fund, the money that we have right now? Because in my opinion, it has worked very, very well. Everything that we see out there, people are commenting, and it's very positive. We've seen some negative comments, but I think the majority has been extremely positive. Is that what we're doing?
So, sir, I can tell you there was a reduction in we reduced the PIO office, I think, by 40%. And so he also lost a lot of his marketing. So Gus has been working overtime with the team he does have. And so they've been really active with social media. They've been active with community partners. And so a lot of his work, again, the work that he's doing with Presidio, making sure we get information from our bond, making sure, we're in constant communication with, our parents and, all of the pop that goes out on Fridays. That's his team leading that work. And so Gustavo has been spearheading it. He's been doing miracles with a lot less.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. On the same note, call centers, marketing, recruiting students, allow us, some of us, if it's only 2 of us or 3, to be part of that group, to be there, to really voice our opinion, even to walk the streets and bring those students back to our district. I think we've been discussing this for the past 2 years. Just we haven't had the opportunity to really be part of your group in really marketing and bringing those students back. I think it's something that we got to do, Dr. Borrego, possibly create a group so that it's either 3 or 2. I know we can come together as a whole, but maybe we can help you in getting out there and really knocking on doors and bringing some of those students back. Please.
Yes, sir.
I have some questions, yes. And so, on the steps taken to reduce expenditures, the discounted rates for existing contracts, are those, what kind of contracts are those?
They're either service contracts or software contracts.
Or software?
Yes, ma'am.
And then it says reduce departmental budgets by 10%. Departments here at central office or campus-wide as well?
Here at Central.
On all
They're
departments?
all departments.
All departments took a 10% cut?
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, okay. And then on A hiring freeze of non-essential positions. What positions was there a freeze on?
I didn't have necessarily a freeze. Basically, what we were doing is looking at when there was a position request, for example, at a campus, and we did not have the enrollment necessary, we would just put that on hold and then move forward with that as far as until there was a need for it.
So, Ms. Carrasco, if I understand correctly, if there's a teacher, for example, that leaves, are we not going to replace that teacher?
Based on what we did with staffing is that we looked at the enrollment numbers, and we also looked at the projected enrollment numbers for next school year. And so what we did there was that in some instances, the enrollment has gone down, the projected enrollment for a campus. And so basically, right now, as teachers have some submitted retirements and or they're considering leaving to another district at the end of the school year, then at that point, we looked at those numbers along with the principals. And so we've put a position on hold pending. Normally what we do is at the beginning of the school year, after the no-show period, we reassess the numbers to make sure that that we do have the students and the staff. So basically right now, if their numbers are low for next year, that position will be on hold because they don't have the projected enrollment for next school year. So after the teacher leaves at the end of the year, no, we won't fill the position until after the no-show period.
Ms. Carrasco, that's a very good political answer. Thank you. But with that in mind, I think that's one of the things that we, during our training, was very clear that things that we can do, where we can increase some of the classroom sizes and give that specific instructor a stipend. That's what I wanted to hear, Ms. Carrasco, but thank you for the answer.
But if there's really not a hiring freeze, then that shouldn't be included in here, in my opinion. If I understand what you're doing because I've been there, and so if the enrollment does not justify the position of a teacher, then the one teacher that is there might have 25 kids versus 18 each. I understand that. But when I look at this as a hiring freeze, that tells me that we're not hiring in certain positions. So I'd rather not see it there. Okay, and then on the consolidating duties of multiple employees, departments into existing positions. So I understand what the reorganization and redesign you're talking about, because somewhere it talked about one person doing two jobs. So we saw that happening in February. And I'm going to be the devil's advocate. We might have less people at central office, but the dollar amount is probably higher because of the promotions that were just done in February. Okay, so and if this is what the organization or reorganization is going to look like, you're reducing the bodies, but you're not necessarily reducing the dollar amount. And so to me, that's not going to have an impact on our budget. So my question is, of the 5 positions that you are looking at, under the budget reductions that Dr. Rico presented on, district administration personnel, 500,000. That's those 5 positions?
Good evening, Ms. Maldonado. So that is the preliminary numbers. We haven't identified individuals. We haven't identified anything other than projected numbers, projected number of positions. That's why we're looking at 5 to 10, right? And then we didn't want to identify individuals until the board approved this reduction so that we could bring that at a later date.
So now it's not just 5, it's 5 to 10?
Well, I think that was the number that was presented earlier, anywhere from 5 to 10. We've
5 to 10,
identified 5,
okay.
but it could be, and that's what I also
mentioned earlier, right, that this is a working reduction for us in which we're trying to be efficient and cut that budget.
And then on the same budget reduction on what you're presenting, the salary reclassification, explain that to me.
Yes, ma'am. So there are some opportunities with current legislation that allows us to, I don't know if you remember in the past, if somebody was an at-risk teacher, they got paid with certain funding, they couldn't touch anything else. Well, I think part of the relief that we got from the state was that that could now be reclassified, right? So now we could have certain individuals that can step into that role and we can use that funding. Same thing, same parameters with some bilingual funding, some parameters with just other avenues where we try to get creative and put them in a place where we can use those funds more effectively.
All right. And the program changes, non-classroom, 225,000. Explain that.
So that one
what program changes?
Yeah. So that one we removed. We were looking at just what programs were not being effective, but I think as we met as a cabinet, we figured any program would impact classrooms. So that's why that one was removed from the public presentation and adjusted on the totals as well.
So there will be no program changes campus-wide because we've seen the impact of what our RIF did.
Yeah, correct.
And I was one to bring that up, with the RIF. So, so now my next question would be on these 5 positions that you're proposing to eliminate and reorganize by giving it to somebody else, maybe the job. And I guess this is for Dr. Borrego. Does this come with a promotion or a stipend or a salary increase?
So there is that potential. So I want to clarify a misnomer. One of the misnomers is that we are taking funding from teachers and using it to fund central office. That is not correct. We have been reorganizing the dollars that were already centrally located. As we eliminate positions, those extra duties, those extra jobs, those extra items have to go to somewhere. And so people in central office, even though there will be less people, still need to be compensated. When we did a comparison analysis based on salaries, when you look at the other surrounding districts, even yet we've given some promotions, some salary increases, we are still lagging behind other districts across the state and also across the region. And so again, no dollars were taken from schools, teachers, or instruction happening at schools.
Okay, so when I do have a problem when you compare to other districts, because statewide, even here in El Paso, you have El Paso, Socorro, Ysleta. They have many more campuses. They have a bigger enrollment than we do. And so I understand the staffing issues of those districts. They might need, I don't know. How many people do you have in finance right now, Ms. Pulley? 12. They might need 20. How many people do you have in HR?
7.
Okay, they might have 21. So the comparison, I'm trying to make a point, Lucy.
Yeah, but this is not.
No.
We're micromanaging. This is not our call as the budget.
Please, order.
This has to do with the budget. So the comparison, because there are more schools, we have less schools. So obviously, we're going to have less kids and we're going to have less people in those departments. It's misleading what just came out and Gustavo reported on. Yes, it shows 600 and something per student because we have less students. Common sense, right? So my problem is, because of budget, is first of all, we're in a surplus for 26, right? We're going to be in a deficit for 27, correct? But if you're taking away and reducing, even if it's 5 or 10 people at central office, which, because we clearly stated it should not be at the campuses where it's going to affect students. But then you're turning around and increasing their salary. That's not, to me, that is not being transparent and accountable. Ms. Barnes, as a teacher, Lucy as a teacher, you're given an extra job, not necessarily a job where you're going to get paid, but you're giving extra duties to do. And your choice is either to do it or not do it, and you lose your job. But do you get an attached salary increase for doing those extra duties? No, you do not. And that
Sometimes
is
you
my
do.
point.
Sometimes you
With
do.
a stipend, yes.
Either a
if you're a
stipend or
UIL coordinator, if you're a
tutoring,
father,
you
daughter,
get paid for your
but
tutoring
if-
hours, things of that
now,
sort.
Ms.
We do
Barnes,
get
it
compensated.
says, okay, as part of our program reorganization, whatever, you're now going to have to be doing this, which might be extra duty for the teacher, right? There's no salary increase, right? That's my point. We're reducing the bodies, but we're not necessarily reducing the salary.
May I make a comment? May I make a comment? In a perfect world, in any industry, if you're asking somebody to lift, push, and pull, and do more than he was using, you got to compensate that individual. That's the way I see it. Whether it's in construction, whether it's in architecture, engineering, every time you're asking somebody to do more work, you have to compensate him, or else he's going to find a job somewhere else. What would happen if most of our cabinet will be gone tomorrow simply because they found a job somewhere else? We have to replace them. And we don't have the expertise to replace those individuals. So how do we handle that?
I would like to make a comment. And you all have valid points, but those are not our points to make. We are asking him to adopt a balanced budget. How he does it is up to him. We are being asked to vote for this RIF the way that he wants to do it, and that is our due diligence, and we have to remove ourselves. We just learned that from, as an educator, I think like you, for sure, but we're board members, and we know that right now we're being asked to approve administration's recommendation for this RIF because we're asking him to approve a balanced budget. So with that being said, he needs to figure it out. He's the superintendent and he needs to do it because we're going to hold him accountable at his evaluation, Dr. Borrego.
Yes.
So again, I'm going to reiterate my motion to approve the administration's recommendation to implement a reduction in force under policy DFFB local and to consider recommended programs and affected employment areas. And I know it was already seconded as well.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez, go ahead.
I'll just keep it brief because I'll just make it into a comment. Dr. Borrego had mentioned that every position is a person. And so my biggest concern is we could have done some of this through attrition, and that was some of the recommendations that we had that I had mentioned and we had talked about. And in concern, I prefer to have a concrete plan versus the presentation that I got today from the February 16th presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. There is a motion and a second on the table. You call the poll, please.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
No.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
No.
Mrs. Zúñiga?
No.
Motion passes. Item
you.
5B,
Thank you, ladies.
consideration and appropriate action on an order authorizing the issuance of Canutillo Independent School District's Unlimited Tax Refunding Bond Series 2026, levying a direct annual ad valorem tax for the payment of bonds, delegating the authority to certain members of the Board of Trustees and district staff to execute certain documents relating to the sale of the bonds, and resolving other matters matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, and delivery of the bonds. Presenter, Rudy Mejia and Arnold Cantu.
Good evening. President Martinez, Board of Trustees, Dr. Borrego. For the record, my name is Rudy Mejia, CEO of Nickel Hayden Advisors, and with me today is Arnold Cantu with Cantu Hardin Montoya. He serves as your bond counsel, and Nickel Hayden serves as your financial advisor. So today we're here tonight to discuss the upcoming bond transaction. It's kind of broken into two pieces, so I'll do my best to simplify the explanation of what we're looking at doing, and then answer any questions that you may have. So I know the board is accustomed to new money bond sales from the 2023 bond election. What makes this one a little bit unique is we're looking at doing a refunding of bonds in addition to some new money bonds. What we have up for you today is the, is that the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my eyes played tricks on me for a moment. What we're showing you right now is just your existing debt profile. The district currently has about $245 million of bonds that are outstanding, and some of those bonds are callable, which means the district can refund some of the debt for savings. And so if you look at the debt pattern at the bottom two graphs, it's relatively flat. Over the next couple of years, you'll start seeing your debt payments go down. And what we're going to do in this upcoming transaction is reduce some of the interest costs that we have associated with the bonds outstanding, and as well as add on $50 million of new money. So I'll go to the next page, please. On slide 2, we broke this out into 3 different items just to show you illustratively what this financing looks like. If you recall, the last couple of years, we've been doing $100 million tranches each and every year. The district is still sitting on some money from those 2 first bond sales. And so it's our recommendation that we don't issue another $100 million and instead decrease that to $50 million. What that does is it helps us with our bond capacity for the future, and it reduces the interest expense right now. And so instead of having another $100 million sitting in the bank, we reduce it by half. We still earn interest on that money sitting there, but we won't have the full-blown $100 million like we typically have. And I think, as Presidio mentioned in their presentation, as projects start accelerating forward, the dollar amounts out will become they will increase. And so we'll dry up all the powder that we have currently and then use this $50 million to get us through this year. We are anticipating the interest rate to be sub 5%. For modeling purposes, we used about 4.8. Over the past few days where Nickel Hayden has been in the market, we're seeing interest rates somewhere around 4.25 to 4.5. So there's a little bit of cushion built into this model here. The refunding case is a little unique. So if you recall back in the COVID time in 2020, 2021, there's some bonds that we sold as a district on a taxable basis. Those bonds, we can do what's called an advance refunding. We really haven't been able to do this since 2017, but when you turn taxable bonds into tax-exempt bonds, you have this opportunity to do what's called an advance refunding. I equate this to basically finding like money in the cushions of your sofa, right? This is something that we typically aren't able to do, but the current interest rate environment allows us to take advantage of this. And so the district has an opportunity here to save some money on about $30 million of bonds. I believe the savings that we're anticipating right now is roughly $2 million. And the reason why this refunding works now is because we can earn some positive arbitrage in our escrow account and basically make a little bit of money here. So it's found money. It's $2 million. I know it's not screaming like a whole lot, but in this environment, every dollar counts. And so lastly, we brought this to the board back in September of last year, maybe November.
The defeasance was
The defeasance. And so we just wanted to update you again. Anytime the district raises additional monies from their tax assessed values, we can use that little overage to cash defease debt. So basically pay down your mortgage faster. And so this past year, the district collected $1.4 million approximately. And so we're going to use that extra money to pay down our existing debt. So there's savings in that. And there's no, once we've paid that off, the district won't be paying interest on that debt anymore. And so these are some of the bonds that we identified for the cash defeasance and the refunding. Just basically the COVID bonds and the 2024 Bs that we already sold. We're going to pay off some of that sooner. This is the team that the district has selected. You know, Nickel Hayden and Cantu Hart and Montoya will serve as your financial advisors and bond counsels. Jeffries is the lead bank, and then their lawyers on this transaction is McCall Parkhurst. Very confident in the team. I'm confident that they'll do a great job. We are looking at going to the market the first week of May. This may be the second week of May. I need to look at the calendar. But May 7th is tentatively on the calendar for us to sell these bonds. And then the district would receive those monies that first week of June. And then that's when the savings would also go into effect. So with that, Arnold, did you have anything to add?
Sure. Arnold Cantu with Cantu Hart and Montoya. Mr. Martinez, Dr. Borrego, thank you for your time. I'll make a few notes here. This order that I'm going to be handing to Adrian for the combined signatures of the secretary and board president and you, Dr. Borrego, there's blanks in it. And why are there blanks in it? Because this order is authorizing district officials, the superintendent, the finance executive, the board president in some cases, to, at a sale date, at a date after today, to approve the final terms of the bonds. And that's going to, this is very similar to what we've done in the past. What we're doing here is binding district staff and officials to a certain set of parameters, right? It's saying we have to have at least 3% savings on the refunding if we're going to do a refunding at all. If we're going to do a new money, it has to be no greater than 6% interest. And if we can't meet those parameters, then we can't do a bond. So this is what this order is doing right now. We'll come back at a later date without a board meeting and have the superintendent sign an approval certificate finalizing the sales terms of the bonds.
If there's any questions, we're more than happy to answer those.
You know, I have a couple of questions. I mean, who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Yes, it's on.
I thought she.
Ms. Barnes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
My question is on the draft copy, and I know you said this was a draft and there's some blanks here, but it does specify the 200 million that we've already previously issued. Then it has a blank, and then it says unissued balance of 78. So I was assuming we were doing 100 million today, so that assumption is wrong.
No, that is wrong. The maximum for a refunding, the maximum portion for a refunding, I have that listed at 80 million. Is
Okay.
that correct? Yeah. So you'll excuse my human nature. That's an
okay.
error.
That's okay. So the amount being issued would be the 50 that you talked about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
And do note, that's a ceiling, not a floor.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Rodriguez? No? I do have a question. Have we, I know that our projects are going all out. We're trying to finish them. Have you talked to Presidio that possibly we can let go of $50 million? Is that possible? I mean, given the fact that you're trying to pay debt, but paying debt is basically giving $50 million back, so to speak, right?
Sure.
Have we talked to them whether or not? I mean, the projects are going all out. There's every project is $73 million, two of them, and then the other one is a little less. But are we sure we can do that at this point? Because I don't want to go towards the end of the year and say, okay, now it's time to sell some more bonds. Mm-hmm. That's one question. The second one is, when we sold the bonds, we sold them at what interest, and what is the interest now?
Okay, let me address the first question. So, in short, no, we do not communicate directly with Presidio. We go through your staff and your superintendent. And so before I think we met maybe about a month ago to go over the needs of the district. And at that time, and I think still currently, there's a lot of money sitting in your project funds from the first two series of bonds that we sold. And so selling the full 100, even though it's possible, isn't recommended at the moment because of how much interest that's going to cost us. It's kind of like dollar cost averaging, right? We'll do a little bit here, a little bit there, and over time, the intent is to pay as little interest as possible on the bonds. And so even though there is an opportunity for positive arbitrage, what I mentioned, there are tax laws that require us what required the district to sell those, or to issue and pay for construction costs over a 3-year period. And so if we do not, if the district doesn't sell, or, I'm sorry, you exhaust those funds in 3 years, then there could be some tax consequences to that. So we don't want to overload you with bond money if Presidio is not selling it or issuing out the contracts fast enough. Are they still here?
Yes, they're here.
Okay. I don't want to say that they're not spending fast enough, but I'm sure all the projects are in line, and they have a sequence which they're following that would allow them to efficiently exhaust those funds as they come in.
Mr. Mejia, my concern is that we should have sold those bonds on $50 million interval instead of that big lump sum. That's my opinion. Okay?
Okay.
I like that the arbitrage is $2 million. That's good for us.
Absolutely.
And my concern now is we sold them at what interest, and what interest do we have right now that we can hopefully benefit, sometime next year, first of the year, in January. What are your,
Oh, here we
what
go.
do you recommend?
No, they're not going to have it. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up the numbers here.
And maybe by that time, Mr. Presidio, Mr. Ortiz, I know we're moving the projects forward, and we're going all out. Well, it's just that if we're gonna give $50 million back, okay?
We're not giving 50
No,
million.
we're paying it back. Well, you're not issuing it. Okay, so you're not issuing it. Okay.
Right. I guess that's what I was understanding. We were not issuing an additional 50 million. It's still authorized, but unissued.
Okay.
So it's still in your toolkit.
I stand
but
corrected.
We'll do it next year.
Thank you very much. I stand corrected.
Yes. And so to answer your question about the interest rate, so last year when we sold these bonds, we were at 5%.
5%. Thank you. I think, Mr. Superintendent, that's something that we need to look in the planning on, just identify all those projects on how we're going to end up paying them so that we can sell those bonds as we need to down the line, please.
Yes, sir.
I'll move. I make a motion that we take action on the order authorizing the issuance of Canutillo Independent School District Unlimited Tax Refund Bonds, Series 2026. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's additional language that,
You want me to say?
yeah, Mr. Mejia pointed it out.
Okay.
Do you have your?
And I'll just say so move after you read it.
So it is to, Steve Blanco, legal counsel for the district, Board President Martinez, members of the board, and Dr. Borrego. The motion needs to cover the issuance of Canutillo Independent School District Unlimited Tax School Building and Refunding Bonds, Series 2026, as presented tonight.
So move.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? No? Adrian, call for the vote.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
Thank you. Good night.
Item number 6, consent agenda voting.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair, I would like to pull agenda item 6A3 and 6A4 for discussion. I didn't get my follow-up questions answered.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair, I would like to pull item 5.4.A.
Oh.
Because I voted no and they put I voted yes.
6A.
Oh, 6.4A.
It's 6A.
6A4?
Are you talking about meeting?
Is it on the
meetings
minutes?
for March.
6A?
March 21st.
Yeah.
6A 1B.
Thank you.
Okay, it says 1B, okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented minus agenda items 6A 1B, 6A 3, and 6A 4.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
The motion was made by Ms. Barnes, second by Ms. Ortega.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
And Mr. President, Mrs. Borrego, for the record, stepped out of the room. Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 6A 1B.
I make a motion to approve the minutes with the following amendment that I voted no on the motion stated on item 6.A.1B on the March 24th, 2026 minutes.
What is the item for the minutes that you're correcting?
It's item 6.A.1B.
No, I understand that's from tonight, but you're asking to correct the minutes from March 21, 2026.
I thought it was 5.4A. That's what I had it written down.
But
So
there's
you
no
believe
4A.
the item that you were incorrectly recorded as a vote on was from those minutes, item 5 point what?
4.
5 point, I don't see,
No, it's
Is
gotta be
this-
6AB.
Didn't we correct that at the last meeting?
Yes, I thought we did.
Then,
No,
It's a different one.
this is for the March. This is when Mrs. Ortega had issues with her microphone, so it wasn't clear
The school library
materials.
books that they had approved for elementary.
okay.
And it's a correction where she voted no, that's all we have to
Okay,
correct.
so the item to be corrected is from the March 24th, 2026 meeting minutes. It is from that agenda. It is item 5A.4. It should reflect that Ms. Ortega voted no, correct?
Correct.
Correct, okay. That is the proposed motion for your change. We need a second to address that.
Motion made by Ms. Ortega, second by Ms. Barnes.
Ms. Barnes? Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega? Mr. Rodriguez? Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Adrian, but on the agenda, it says approval of March 21st regular board meeting, but it's actually March 24th. The minutes say 24th, so that's another confusion there. Can we motion to correct that as well? That was the confusion there. Okay, for my agenda item 6A3 for the approval of budget amendments, I had a question in regard to the technology refresh. So my understanding, I had asked why we had another refresh when we had already paid to refresh the student and the teacher devices this year. We did one in January and one in March. So I was confused as to why we were seeing it again.
Good evening. I'm here to talk not about finances, but about the machines. So the machines that we purchased were purchased this year for next year's students, and they were purchased in two different purchases, which was one in the end of last calendar year, and then another one at the beginning of this calendar year. Just for your knowledge, the data centers are consuming all of the rare earth minerals that produce the little sticks of RAM that go on machines. We used to buy that rare earth mineral from China. However, as of late, that has ceased. So the prices for that mineral have gone up about 300%. So Ms. Pulley had to amend it to include both of those purchases and any price variance along with the teacher machines. So this was her final correction to be sure that everything within those purchases was taken out of that negative budget. Let me be clear too. We made those purchases and right now they're sitting in a negative balance. So this is to correct that negative balance for the purchases of the machines that were made. For your knowledge, we purchased all machines for the refreshes. We want to be certain that we do not have any confusion at the time to put these in kids' hands. Our commitment is that they would be there within the first 2 weeks of school. I know we've had some issues in the past where that wasn't attainable. So not only did we get better pricing, we get to have them here. They will be ready to be distributed for all of our students that have the refresh affecting them and also for our staff.
Okay, so just to be clear, this was to pay basically an outstanding invoice for batches of refreshes that were purchased.
To my knowledge, that is correct, but I'll look for approval.
Okay.
Yes.
In the future, just so that hopefully it'll clear up and I don't have to ask these questions, if we're purchasing something like that in a batch, can we just notate that here, that it was like batch 1 of 2 or whatever the case may be? That way, when I see it again, I don't think we're paying for something twice. Then I know why.
Sure.
Perfect, if that's possible.
I think the only concern was, the only issue on this one, we have some Windows machines and some Mac machines, so that's what threw everything out of whack. So sorry about that.
With that, I motion to approve agenda items 6. Oh, should we do both together or do we have to do them separately? Okay, sorry. I motion to approve 6A3 for the approval of budget amendments.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Barnes, second by Ms. Borrego. Go ahead, Adrian.
Yes.
Ms. Borrego,
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga.
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
And then my last one had to do with agenda item 6A4 for the project closeout GMP. I was confused because there are 2 different numbers given here. There's an amount of $29,492.29 for the retainage releases, but in the actual backup, it gives the full amount of $54,661.58. So what are we approving tonight?
We would have to amend it to the 29,492 on the executive summary. Yes, that's a grammatical, or not a grammatical, a clerical mistake that we acknowledge, and we can either pull it or amend it to reflect the correct retainage release of 29,492.29.
Can we amend it, Steve?
You don't need to amend it because it's on the agenda.
Okay, okay.
So we just need to make note in our own executive summaries back here
Yes.
that the amount is that 29. And just to be clear, so are we going to, in the future, be getting the difference of those 2 amounts? We're going to
Yes.
be paying the other rest of the GMP at a later date?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. I apologize for that clerical.
No, that's fine. So I motion then to approve agenda item 6A4 for the approval of project closeout for GMP number 1 for Canutillo Middle School, RFQ number 2025-02B, project number 041-00 to Baines General Contractors, authorization of retainage release in the amount of $29,492.29.
And I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Barnes, second by Ms. Ortega.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Borrego,
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 7.
Good evening again. For item number 7, we do not have all the correct information to be able to present that to you tonight. There's still some work that after meeting with council and with engineers that we have to sort out. We will bring this at a later meeting.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That would cancel item number 7 and number 8. Item number 9, meeting adjournment. Time is 8:45 p.m.
Thank you.